what we have here today is 2010 Audi Q7 TDI. So that's a 3-liter V6 TDI. The kilometers on it is 143,946. Today what we're doing is we're replacing the NOx sensor, NOx sensor. It's going to be it's called the bank one, the sensor one, bank one sensor. And what I'm doing right now, I have the VCDS hooked on to it, and I'm checking. The engine is cold right now. It's minus 10 degrees Celsius outside, so the engine cooling temperature is cold. So I'm checking to see also at the same time, while I have the engine cold, to see if the exhaust temperature probe, the EGT sensors, if they're close to each other. This is the way that in the repair manual they mentioned to check them. So on this particular vehicle, it doesn't really tell me which sensor it is. I know on the Jetta 99 I was doing not long ago, I replaced one of them, and there was one prior to the turbocharger, one after the turbocharger, and another one after the particle filter. So there was at least 3 of them on the Jetta. On this Q7 TDI, I'm not sure how many there is, probably at least 3 or 4. But if you can see the temperature here, it's minus 12.6, 11.7, and 11.8. So they're quite close, but this one is like a degree off. And if I go, this is value group 098. If I go here, here I don't know, it's minus 277, but it's probably a temperature that's only when you have the key on. See, these two temperatures, they match, so that makes sense. But the reason why I'm doing this here, I'm gonna go and check the fault codes for this particular engine. So right now it has it says bank 1, sensor 1. It says the fault code is 008704, which is a P2200. It says fault frequency 1, and I guess the last time that fault happened, or the first, it's 142,802, and right now it's got 143,946, so like 1,000 kilometers away to go. So this is the main fault. It had a fault for that particular NOx sensor, but also right now it has some faults in the HVAC system, the heating system. So it says please check the fault codes in the HVAC. So there, I think it's a pressure switch or something fault. But so there's 2 faults that has to do with the air conditioning system. I don't know if they're both the same. Yeah, there's 053285. So it repeats itself on this. And then the second one is NOx sensor 2 bank 1. So this fault wasn't there before. It was mostly for the sensor 1 bank 1, and now see, it says sensor 2 bank 1 and also sensor 1 bank 1. So this fault was there before, and now the other one is coming on. So I'm going to change this one for today, and I'll show you guys what the part looks like and where it is, and so we'll go from there. So I'm going to record these faults, and we'll go from there. Okay, so what I've done is first of all, I opened the hood, removed the cover that hides the engine. This is the module. See, I have it unplugged. I just wanted to make sure it was the right one. So this wire goes here, goes up to here. On this particular model, very easy to replace this NOx sensor, NOx sensor. So this is the one here on the bottom. There's another sensor here. It's like an O2 sensor, but I don't think it's one of the NOx. There's probably another one below. See, this is one of the exhaust probe just below that NOx sensor. I'm gonna show you the new one. We've ordered from the dealer. This is the only place we could get it. So it's very similar to an oxygen sensor. It screws on the exhaust. It goes like this. I guess the brand is the NGK. This is the brand. and this is the sensor is NGK, but the module is Continental, and this is the correct number. It's 059907807H. So this is the module, and it's around $698 Canadian. So it's not a cheap part. So, and also there's a technical service bulletin that mentions that you know, before changing this part, you got to make sure that the ECU has the correct software in it. And I checked and it seems to be okay. Before, this car had the problem for this one, but now it's making the fault for the other NOx sensor, NOx sensor. So this is the one here. What I did, I unplugged it, and just to make sure I got the right one, you don't replace the wrong part. So I unplugged it, and this is the fault that it has right now. It says no communication, and you could tell by the mileage it's a fault that just been done, 143,946, and that's what it shows on the cluster. So you know that's the one you just been created, and it's not the same fault code. This one is 053254, which is U1006, and so this is the fault that I recorded. This is the fault that I recorded here. So it says NOx sensor, bank 1, bank 1, and the fault is a P2200. Okay, so it's not the same fault. So by unplugging it, it makes a different fault. And see, there's another one here too. See, bank. It says sensor 2, bank 1. So on the V6, there's 2 bank, but there's only 1 turbo. So the exhaust system goes from both banks, and it goes in the turbo at the same time. So there's only like 1 exhaust system. It's like a dual exhaust system, like a V8 or something, without the turbos. So that's why they call it bank 1. There's probably no bank 2, particularly for these sensors. So so a NOx sensor 2, bank 1. So this one, the fault was not there before, but now it's starting to come up. So I assume that later on we'll probably have to replace the second one also. So anyway, we'll go ahead and replace this sensor and see if it fixes the problem. Okay, I have it removed right now. See, this is where it resides. So it was fairly easy to remove. I didn't have to heat it up with a torch or something like that. It went ready, you know, it removed real easy. So I removed, there's 2 nuts, 10mm head nuts. So on this bracket, this is where it was. So so I removed it. There's a couple of tie wraps. And what I've done is, so both sensors are here. Okay, so this is the original one. It's it says made in Japan, and it's NGK, same brand as the other one. I checked, the numbers are the same, but the modules has been changed. They're both made by Continental, both in Germany, but this one, you could tell that this is the original one. On the top here, the date 15/09/09, and this one is 12/09/14. And the part number has been changed. Previously it was with a C, and now it ends with a H. So it probably means that they made some modification to the part itself. Usually when they add improvements to a part or something, they always change at least the letters. Sometimes the number will be different, but most of the time it's just the letter. This one is C and H. Usually the letter goes up also. It's like C, D, up to next one could be higher than H, let's say. So I'm gonna put this one in, and first time I see like an auction sensor style that has like a bung that turns like that. Usually it's you can't turn this part, and the new one is just like that too. So it's a little bit like these temperature sensor probe. See this probe here? Well, when you remove this nut, the nut swivels on the probe itself, so you don't have to turn the sensor, and you could put the sensor wherever you want. So anyway, it's a little bit like that. So I'm going to put a little bit of maybe NTCs. There's already some on, a little bit on the so already a bit of stuff. I'm going to put some more, a little bit more, and anyway, so we'll go from there. So everything is installed right now. So the module is bolted and the sensor is installed. So you can see the engine runs good. On this particular vehicle, we had to replace the EGR previously. They had fault for the EGR, so we put a new EGR valve, and that solved the problem. And while we had that EGR fault, there was no other fault, so we replaced this, and it was good for, you know, maybe a month or two, and then after that the fault for the NOx sensor came out. So and then we'll see if the bank 1 sensor too, if the other one comes back on too. So right now it's been idling for a little while, and it doesn't seem to have any fault, but it takes a little while before the fault comes back. So we'll try that.